if you're like me, you probably have a bunch of extra parts lying around. So in this video, we are going to take those parts and take a stock car and put those on there. So try to spend the least amount of money possible and still get some good results. So if you like videos like these, please subscribe to the channel and we can do more in the future. So you probably got maybe a thing like this with random bolts and plates and stuff like that. So we're going to take those and put them on a car today. So this is a car that actually we built on the channel, and I'll get that out right now. Alright, so this is it, and this is one we are going to use to build up with the random stuff. This one took a little bit of a tumble, so the rollers aren't too straight, and it actually runs pretty well just as is, even with the white motor. But we'll take it and put a new motor in, put some other parts on, see what we got lying around, and yeah, let's get into it. So we got the car, and it's your best friend. That was a terrible idea. Okay, now it's all cleaned up. So once you start buying some parts and different cars, you're going to start looking like this. And that's always okay, because we can use those parts. Screws, stuff like that. Rollers. We've got extra tires in here. We got pretty much anything that we would need. And if you're like me and you go in and you say, oh, I think this would work, and you buy it, and then you go home and you say, oh, okay, well, that's not going to work for my idea, and you just put it aside. And you say, oh, I want to put this on there, and then it just looks kind of goofy with the color or something like that. We've all been there, and I'm going to show you how to take some of these little mistakes or leftover pieces and turn them into something awesome. So first up, we're going to need, we're going to be using a brake. The brake is 95535. Next, we're going to be using one of these. I'm pretty sure we're going to be using this one because it has the extra little bit there. So that's 15430 and 15243. I actually had this little guy for the next part, which is the damper for the back. This one's 15478. I couldn't figure out how to put this on my Supra. I think I had to cut into the body of it or something, so I never got around to it. And yeah, we're gonna try it out on here, which it should work with this stay. For the front, we're just gonna use a regular FRP. And then for the brake, I haven't 100% decided on this one, but probably these plastic pieces, maybe just one of these FRP plates, but we'll see how that goes. Back rollers, we're going to be using these 4 purple, I think they're 19 millimeters. The front will use these. I could take them off here, but you can see this one's kind of screwed up. I think only one of them is actually still pretty straight. That one's kind of jacked up too. And yeah, that's not too straight, but not terrible. So we'll get some new ones on that. And then for the stabilizer balls, oh no, I must have lost one when I dropped them. Oh, there it is. We have these two colors, the fluorescent and the blue. So color scheme should be okay. Yeah, so let's get to it. First things first is taking off these old rollers. And we'll start with the plate. It should go about right. Yeah, so we'll screw that down and that down. We might have to come back and go through the bottom. Actually, no, because there's not going to be enough room for... Yeah, there's not going to be enough room for any type of damper on the front, so we might actually have to use plastic pieces. Okay, so I went with here, just in case we need to use this screw, or yeah, this screw and this screw. So we'll see, because we know these two will go with this piece. So we'll put that on and see how that fits. So it should go right there along those two holes. Alright, so now that those are in here, I kind of wish I had a yellow one of these to go with the color scheme. But now we're just going to kind of see how these will sit and which holes are accessible. So you can hold it up to the light and kind of see through like that. No, not that. So this is probably where they wanted them to sit. I think I might try and angle it out in a way that I could put some type of weight, maybe outside the normal range. So because these have tons of holes in them, you can kind of just fiddle with it and see if something will work. But you don't want it to go outside the rollers, which is something you want to be careful of. So I'll work on that and we'll see what we come up with. So it looks like the best position is just going to be the straight up orthodox method, but we're going to put on the rollers before we do that. Alright, so we got the screw, the spring washer that will go through here. We got the roller, spacer, washer, nut, and then I took this out of here, so hopefully we don't need it, or we can just use a different one of these, and then we'll fill up the rest of the space too, and then top it off here with the little yellow ball that's rolling around. And don't forget your grease. And there we go. Looks like that. Pretty cool. Get those down. Looks like I might be able to put like a washer or something in there. But I don't think it's a big deal. This one's all the way down, so maybe I just didn't screw that down tight enough. So I'll do that really quick. Just don't want to get it too tight so it's popping off the edge. Alright, there we go. Looking pretty cool. Next we'll get these ones on here. And there we go. The front is so far so good. We'll see about putting any type of weights up front somewhere, or maybe from the sides. Not 100% sure, but we'll figure it out. Next we're putting on the rear multi-roller setting. This one is 15430, and we'll be putting it on just like so. But since we're going to be putting this on with the weights, we're going to have to use these ball screws, and hopefully this works, because when I tried it with the other one it did not work too well. So the idea here is screw, weight, the plate, washer, and then a nut. So we get that assembled. Alright, so we got that part done, and then these screws will screw into here, and it should sit like that. on the back of here. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, here we go. And let's see if it will go on here. So if this goes here, I guess it'll work. I feel like it should be sitting back behind it, but I don't think, because that's where the screws will go in. We can try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So I think it will work. We're just going to have to cut out this back part of here. Told myself I didn't need any fancy tools, but my god, this thing works so good. And here's the moment of truth. And let's check this out. So just as predicted, it will not close, so we're going to give that a little snip. Now it closes, but you can see it's supposed to kind of go up and hit down. It doesn't do that now, at least yet, so we're going to cut into here as well. Right. Okay, so I just cut the whole TRF off. Had to take a little bit more off, but now you can see that it is working like it should. Yeah, next up we want to do the rollers, but I think we're gonna have to put the brake on first to see if we can actually fit the rollers on and how low we can put the rollers. So let's check that out. So I'm not 100% sure this is gonna work, but I'm gonna try putting these on here, then the brake. Yeah, let's just try it. So the hope was that this wouldn't lie completely flat, but if we try to take something, put it underneath, yeah, that's not gonna work. So I might have to remove this, put it underneath here, and then connect the brake directly to the plate, and then we can screw these directly into the body. And then after realizing that, I'm pretty sure the front also touches the ground. So let's get some more parts. Okay, so this isn't fully on, just one screw on each side. Check for clearance. No, not gonna happen. So this is fully, nope, not gonna happen. I didn't screw it all the way down, but just to test it, and it's back to the drawing board. Alright, so back to plan A. I think we'll just use one of these, probably use this one, because we don't need the extra space for weights or anything, because the weights will be right here. Alright, so we got this going here. Let's just check the body. One sec, we get the body on. And the last thing we'll need to check is if the rollers will fit. And it looks like it should be good. We'll do these ones right here. So it's going to look something like this with spacers in between. So these will sit at the bottom, these will sit at the top, and they'll be capped with that. I did find some spacers in my box of goodies, so maybe we can get those on there, a little bit of added flair. Alright, so we got the layout for the brake going down with the spacers. Tried to add some colors to it. Looks pretty cool. We'll probably have to stop it with something maybe, but we'll see how far it pokes out. So we'll put that on the back, and then we can see how much we need for these. Alright, so it will end up like this. There wasn't enough clearance for the black. Probably put that on top. Yeah, and then put a screw and a washer if we need it, or maybe just a little rubber bit on top. So let's see if we can get these rollers set up. So the reason I only put one screw on here is so I could kind of twist it like that, and that will give me space to work with this roller section. So we're starting off with the screw, washer, roller, and then the little cap here, the washer spacer or the roller spacer. Get that lubed up a little bit, and then we can put it in. We'll go this one if it fits. Oh no, it doesn't. So I guess we'll go on the outside if it's not too big, and then we can close that to get a bit of a gauge on how much room we need for the spacers to go right there. So we can look and see, okay, maybe about 6 millimeters. So we'll try that out. So the 6 stuck out too much, and it stuck a little bit out too much on the side, so I'm going to try and screw this up through here. That looks like it should fit with the small spacer on there. So I'm going to have to screw up all the way through. This is why you want to check it, because you're going to have to drive all this up through the chassis, and then if it doesn't work, you're going to have to take it all out. And that is disappointing. Okay, so we are going to go with the 6 out here. Looks like it's our only option, because this one right here is pretty much useless since the chassis is a little bit in the way. Don't feel like digging holes into stuff right now, but I think this will do just fine. So now I'm just going to put on a washer and a nut, hold that down, then I can get the brake on and do it on this side too, and then I don't have to worry about moving all this stuff around when I start to put this stuff up here on top. Or do I? And I still might need to screw this. So I guess I'll just keep it like this for now and get some of these on here, and then the other roller up there too. See how it looks. Alright, this is where we're at. It's giving some Ava vibes right now, which I do dig. Alright, there we go. And then we'll just get a washer on and a nut, and we should be good to go. Alright, it's starting to come together. I'm not gonna lie, that looks pretty cool. So other than the motor, we're gonna have to find some way to put some weights towards the front of this one. So let's see if we can find some type of piece that we can connect some sort of weight, maybe down back this way or up this way. I'm not sure, but I'll let you know when I find it. Alright, so the only thing I could think of was getting this on here and then using the kind of curved plates, these ones, I think this 15372 should work. Okay, so we got the front brakes stay on, and then we need to figure out how to put something hopefully up through right there. Get that screwed down a little bit more, so up through here to go between I don't know if that'll work with this shell. Yeah, to get it out right there, because that is literally our only option on the front right there. So let's see if we can get that worked out. Just turned out to be quite the project. So this screw and this screw, they're both the smallest screws I have, and they make it a little bit too long, so this doesn't sit flush. So I took a longer screw, and we'll get that drilled up through here and stomped down with a nut. Okay, and there we go. So we got that locked off with a nut and a washer. Put one more screw down just for good measure, and hopefully a little bit of weight. Even though it's not much, it should be better than nothing. That's what it looks like so far. And now we just need to figure out how to get something right up in there. Alright, I'm not even sure why I have these. Side extension roller mount. Not 100% sure what it's actually used for, but it looks like this will kind of curve up into that spot nice and okay. So let's check it out. Oh, would you look at that? That might actually work. I have no idea why I have these, but for some reason it might just do the exact thing I needed to. It's very close to the tire though. Alright, so hopefully one of these fits. That's not looking too promising. Neither is that. Actually. Is that the same in the middle? I mean, it works, but doesn't have much room to travel. Let me think about this one. So, I'm either really smart or really stupid. So this fit up here, okay, but this wouldn't fit all the way down, so I took a couple spacers, put them below it, and yeah, now it actually works perfectly fine. That is wild. So at the beginning of this video, I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted this to look like in mind, and it went in some ways very easily, and in other ways not so easily. But I think the final result is pretty cool looking. So yeah, I got a lot more ideas for cars I want to tune up, and look at some more maybe higher end builds. And if you want to see those videos, all you have to do is subscribe, and you can check out the page to see if any of them have been uploaded already. If not, you can hit notifications, and that will let you know when they do get uploaded. So I'll try and get as many out as soon as possible for now. And thank you for watching. Peace.